Hi, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Me, You, and Who. Today, we're diving into an incredibly moving story with Megan, who shares her journey as a surrogate. From the emotional motivations that inspired her decision to the unwavering support of her family, Megan takes us behind the scenes of her surrogacy experience. This is a conversation filled with raw honesty, beautiful reflections, and a celebration of the everyday moments that make life meaningful. Whether you're considering surrogacy, supporting someone on this path, or just curious about this extraordinary process, Megan's story is sure to inspire. So grab a cup of coffee or settle in for your commute. We're so glad you're here to listen. Enjoy. Me, you, and who? Who knew it would take more than two people to have a baby? In a world where infertility is no longer a taboo topic, this podcast will take you through all of the different aspects of surrogacy and egg donation through the lens of many who walk this journey in different ways. My name is Whitney Hall, and I am a two-time surrogate, now turned surrogacy coordinator for Egg Donor and Surrogate Solutions, the very agency I used when I chose to carry for two amazing families. With this podcast, it is our goal to help guide and support you as you learn about what it takes to grow a family in an alternative way, as well as hear inspiring and beautiful stories of how this path has changed lives forever. We can't wait for you to hear about just one more way happy families are created every day. Hi, Megan. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, of course. I'm just so excited to hear your story and all of the things.
Yes, I'm excited too.
So, okay, let's go back. I know we have lived so much life since then, but
hmm
let's go way back. How did surrogacy even get on your radar?
So about 12 years ago, I met my best friend in cosmetology school. She was pregnant at the time. When she turned 20 weeks, she went into labor and had some complications. She lost her baby and had to have a few blood transfusions. And
Oh, I'm so sorry.
like seeing her go through that, I had one child at the time. Um, Seeing her go through that, I just was like, I want to have a baby for you because they had told her that she would not be able to carry again. So I really I talked to her about it and she said that they were gonna try again and they had come up with something for her to kind of aid her through her pregnancy.
Yeah.
And we ended up getting pregnant at the same time.
Oh my
So it
gosh,
was
how
something,
fun.
yeah. So now we have two boys that are the same age and we've been really good friends since then. Since then I've had three more children of my own. So I don't think I was really quite ready to finish my family yet. So
Yeah.
I'd kind of just kept putting it off and putting it off. But through the years, I have come across a bunch of women in my family who have like PCOS and
Mm-hmm.
other infertility issues that kind of touched my heart and was just like, if they would ever ask me to do that for them, then I would. Unfortunately, it never happened. Like the timing never happened for me to be able to do that for a family member.
Yeah.
So when I knew, I just started feeling this pressure, seeing a lot of issues like on Facebook and stuff like that about people with infertility issues and just like a real
Mm-hmm.
pressing matter for surrogates and agencies and people looking for surrogates and stuff like that. So I started researching it and I just really felt like a calling to do that for somebody. So
Yeah. Well,
that's
I
where
mean,
the
it's
journey started.
so sure, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so infertility is that thing that no one really wants to talk about, and yet it's so common.
Yes.
It's so much
Yes.
more common than people think.
hmm
And the fact that you were surrounded by so many and touched in that way, that's amazing that
Yeah.
it stayed on your heart.
hmm we had talked about like what is your gift, and I had jokingly said like oh, I am able to have children easily. That just must
Yeah.
be my get, like my thing. And so that's when I was kind of like, actually, like that could be like an actual good thing to do for somebody,
Yeah.
you know?
Joking, like not a joke
Yeah.
at all.
So yeah. So that's kind of what sparked the whole like, let me research this and see like what all I would have to do to become a surrogate. And at the time,
Sure.
I was not, my BMI had not, it was over what they wanted. So
Yeah.
just during the whole beginning stage, I just had to kind of work hard to get my body to where it needed to be and able to have a successful journey.
Sure,
So,
sure. And BMI is one of those things, it, ASRM, they have all of those guidelines and they're there just to make sure that you have that beautiful, healthy pregnancy. But
hmm
what a great, you were able to take that time and think about
hmm
everything and, and get your body ready for doing such an amazing thing.
hmm
Did, what did your family and your friends think when you said to them, okay, hey, this has been like, it's been in the back of my mind for so long. I'm actually like, we're hitting the gas pedal. We're going now.
There were some mixed feelings. So we didn't tell anybody anything until we had matched with a couple and got
Oh
like
wow.
our dates for everything.
Yeah.
So we have 4 children, and we both of our sets of parents and siblings and everybody were here
Yeah.
with us, but um, they're kind of used to me like thinking, oh, I want to do something and just kind of attacking it. So they're like,
Sure.
okay, this is just another thing that you're just wanting to do, you know?
Uh-huh.
Um, so at first it was kind of like, okay, we'll see. But then when they realized, that we had matched with a couple and actually our children helped us, we kind of set them down. It was around last September. We set them down and we told them like, this is why I want to do this. Like we should use our gifts to help other people.
Yeah.
Um, and it's something that I really wanted to do. And we explained it as like baking cookies for
Sure.
a
There you go.
neighbor.
Yeah.
Because our kids are kind of younger. So we were just saying like they have all the ingredients to make the cookies. They're just going to borrow our oven for a little bit. And
Yeah.
also talked about like transferring plant and stuff like that. But
Sure.
my husband, so the kids were kind of like, after that conversation, they were kind of like, can we go play now? Um,
Right. Are we
but
baking?
they,
Are we gardening?
yeah,
I don't know what you're
what
talking
is
about.
going on?
Yeah.
Um, so after that, they did kind of help us look at a few couples that were sent to us and kind of helped us narrow it down. But my husband from the very beginning he's always like, whatever you want to do, I support you fully, whatever you want to do. Just, and so that was really helpful for him because I didn't have to talk somebody else into being along on my plan with me. He was just very
Yeah.
supportive
Well,
and we had a
having that
big
support
support
system
system.
is,
Hmm
yeah, and
Yeah.
that's so important when you're going on a journey like this.
hmm
You mentioned how you had done a lot of research and things like that. What did that research look like, and what ended up, what had you end up with Egg Donor and Surrogate Solutions as the agency you wanted to work with?
So I actually had looked at the first thing that had popped up was a surrogate agency in Kansas. And I was like,
Yeah.
I can't go to Kansas to verify this. So I'm very sketchy with online business and online
Sure.
transactions and that kind of thing.
Sure.
So I actually added a bunch of Facebook groups. I started looking at Facebook groups. There's surrogate support groups. There's like all kinds of matching groups and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know at the time. I felt like an 80-year-old, but I apparently had posted something in a group looking for recommendations for an agency, and somehow a friend of mine saw it on like my profile and messaged me and was like, "Hey, I know a friend of mine who actually was a surrogate. I see that you're looking to be a surrogate." And I'm like, how did you know that I was looking into this? And she was like, well, it said that you posted in this public group. And I was like, oh my gosh. But she sent me the information for the lady, and I asked her a bunch of questions, asked her
Yeah.
experience. And so once people kind of started realizing like what I was trying to do, they sent me um, their contacts of people who they know who have done it before.
Yeah, and personal experience is so, I mean, that firsthand experience is great
Mm-hmm.
to hear from. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So ultimately, you felt comfortable with egg donor and surrogate solutions.
Mm-hmm.
You filled out that application, and went through that whole process. You've talked a little bit about the matching process as far as your family was involved and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. How did you know? How did you know that this was the right couple whenever you looked at those profiles?
So they sent us 5 couples, and I was kind of particular on the guidelines that I wanted to match.
Sure.
They sent us 5. Um, it was between 3 couples that I had on a ranking. And in the beginning, I had ranked a couple from New Jersey first and my actual eyepiece second, and then the third person. And I went to bed that night and I just was praying about it and thinking about, like, telling my son, I don't know, like, I just feel something pulling me towards the second couple that we have. Like, I don't know why. I
Yeah.
just feel like, I think it was really the stuff that I had read about their son.
Hmm.
Um, and the other couple had 2 children. They had 1 child. Um, but I just felt pulled to them. And so in the morning, I was like, I'm just going to let it rest. In the morning, I switched them to number 1, and she was like, this couple wants to do a call with you. Like, they want to meet you. So I
Yeah.
never even really got to meet the other couple that I had put on there. Once we met with them on a video call,
Yeah, the
it
match
was
meeting.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, the match meeting. We were like, okay, we're going to go um, to where they live and meet them in person, and everything just kind of clicked from there.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. It
Yeah.
just felt right.
It did. I just went to sleep, and when I woke up, I just knew. I was like, okay, I gotta switch them. It like bothered me all night long. Why am I just drawn to this couple? And I love them, absolutely love them. And so I don't think that connection. It maybe could have been the same, but I don't think it could have been any more perfect than the way that it turned out
Mm,
with them. So
yeah. Oh, I love that. So,
yes.
one of the things that, you see on an application, at least on ours, is you see all sorts of things, but you see a lot of like particulars, and one of the particulars is number of embryos, and this your intended parents only had 1 embryo. Did you
Hmm.
even think about that? Was that, how did you feel when you saw that?
With my religious background, I had just kind of prayed about it and said, like, if this is every single step of the way, if this is what you want me to do, then you're going to open the doors. If this is not what you want me to do, then at any time I know that you're just going to intervene. And so the day of the transfer, I think was probably the only day that I felt nervous and a lot of pressure. I just
Yeah.
remember I was just like, okay, like, I left my medication at home. It was like a 6-hour drive. I had left one thing at home, and it was my bag
Oh
of medication the night
no.
before the transfer. And I'm like, it's 10 o'clock. I'm calling my agent, and I'm just like, I have ruined this. I've ruined everything. Like, they have one chance. This is their one chance. I was so prepared. She's like, it's fine. Get there early. We'll have medications for you. I'm like, okay. So
Oh,
there was a
and
lot of pressure.
this is just one more reason why you have a coordinator. Like, this is why.
I know. I was just and for a minute I was like, "Oh my gosh, like I have ruined this. We're going to have to reschedule everything." It was a little bit of pressure, but I also knew, like, I just had a piece that it was all going to be okay. Like, it was going to take.
Yeah.
I just had a feeling that everything was going to work out and that I was going to be able to do this for them. So,
So during, when you got to transfer day, because there's so much that happens before you even get to transfer day. You've got to go
mhm.
through medical screening and psych, and you've got to go through legal, and just all of that. And you're slowly building that relationship with your intended parents. How are they feeling as you guys are getting, to the big day?
I remember when we did the psych eval and sat down with the
Yeah.
counselor, they were just like tears of joy were just flowing. And at that point,
Mm.
I kind of felt like, okay, I really want to make this happen for them, just because even
Yeah.
just in that moment, we hadn't even started the medication or anything. It was the day that we got approved, like they did the uterus check and all that. And
Right.
um, they were like, you're good to go. Um, they had this just sense of like, I just want to take care of you. Um, and just so much joy. They're just like, we're already just grateful that you're wanting to do this for us, because I believe they were matched
Mm,
before with somebody else, and then her screening had fell through, and
yeah.
they weren't able to do that. And so I think they didn't want to jump the gun and get too excited, but they also were already so grateful that anybody was just willing to take a chance on having just one embryo, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So you get to transfer day, you got there early, you got your meds, right?
Yes, yes. I have a
So
picture of
everything's
me
good.
holding the pill like this. Like, look, I was showing my husband, like, look what I have to do by myself now, because I left it all at home and we weren't able to do it in the hotel this morning.
Oh gosh, yes. So you got there early, you got all your stuff. Were your intended parents there at transfer day?
They were, yes, they were there.
Oh my goodness. So how did you well, you said you had a peace, you said you had a calm. How were they
Hmm.
feeling on transfer day?
I think they were really excited, and also a little bit nervous. They both went back
Sure.
with me and watched the whole process. There was a little bit of a hiccup during the transfer right before we started, just them not being fully clear on how many we were transferring, because they had thought that one had already gone. They had already discarded all the other ones.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit emotional for them, because they had to kind of say bye to that. And then we had to kind of hurry and switch to, okay, this is happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just felt so bad for them in that moment, because I was just like, oh, this is supposed to be an exciting day, not a sad day. And so after that had happened, I think they were really excited. They were excited that they got to be there in the room and watch
Mm.
the whole process. That was like,
Yeah.
I think the first connect for me and the mom. She like held my hand and was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like just
Mm.
watching it go through. Um, and then we ended up having lunch together and stuff like that. But they were really excited on the morning of. We took a few pictures. I don't know if you got them or not, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. So, okay,
Yes.
transfer day happens, and now it's the longest 10 days of anyone's life, it seems like. And you just are waiting, waiting, waiting for those numbers.
Yeah. So I tested every single day, every single
Every,
day.
no.
Every single day I tested, and I was getting so discouraged. Like I know somebody who's gone after me and done this, and I'm like, don't test. Do not test until the day that they tell you to, because I worried myself. I tested, I want to say 5 days. I tested 5 days straight and all of them were negative. And I was like, okay, I'm going to stop. I'm just going to stop, and I'm going to wait till the blood test. The
There you
blood
go.
test came and I read it wrong.
No.
I I read it wrong. And so I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm not pregnant." And I just started bawling. I called my aunt,
Oh.
who also works at my OB doctor. I called my aunt and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm just so emotional. Like I don't know what happened. Like I did everything I could." And she's like, "What are you talking about? That means you're pregnant." And I was like, "Wait, what?" Cuz my numbers weren't super high at first, but they were definitely
Sure.
above what they needed to be. And
Uh-huh.
then I like literally immediately slipped and was like, "Oh my gosh, okay, I'm hanging up with you and I'm calling the mom." So I hung up on her and called the mom. And so, or I don't think I called the mom. I think I called the agency to make sure they were going to tell the mom, you know. I
Sure.
just wanted
Sure,
to
sure,
make
sure, sure,
sure
sure.
that they knew immediately and they were, you know, informed. So,
Oh my gosh, that's
yes, that
amazing.
was
So how
exciting.
was I mean, okay, so we went on a whiplash of a situation there.
Yes.
And and then you finally talked to parents.
Mm-hmm.
When did it feel real, or were you kind of like, I don't even know yet?
Yeah, I don't even know yet because my
Yeah.
levels, we didn't want to get so excited because my levels weren't as high. So they had me up some doses of some stuff.
Sure. Sure.
And so I just was kind of like doing at like everything,
We're
like double
cautiously
checking
optimistic.
everything. I'm just like
Yeah.
walking on eggshells, like resting, not going anywhere. And so I yeah, I think we were just a little nervous at first because the numbers weren't as high, but it all ended up
Yeah.
working out. So,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
How were mom and dad? Did they remain kind of cautiously optimistic, or like when do you think that switched for them where they were like, oh, this is happening?
I would say after a few weeks of being pregnant, just to whenever I
Yeah.
went to retest and my numbers had gone up and they could
Yeah.
kind of see that, everything's okay. We're all good. It's stuck and she's growing
Yeah.
and everything looks good. And so it's crazy what the body can do.
It really is. It really is. And it's beautiful. And
Oh,
it's
yeah,
so
absolutely.
beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. How was okay, so we have pregnancy, intended parents are 6 hours away. Were they coming to appointments as best as they could? How was your relationship with them as we got to this point? And oh my gosh, it was that one embryo, the little
Yes.
embryo that could.
I know, yes. So, me and the mom kind of started like checking in with each other a little bit more.
Yeah.
She sent us some stuff for Christmas and Thanksgiving,
Oh,
and I thought that was so sweet of her. She just really, really made sure to take care of me. She found any kind of reason just to send me something. She's the sweetest.
oh,
And I know, um, they came to a few appointments, like the big appointments when we were going to do a sonogram, they came to those. The
sure.
rest of the time, if they just did the heartbeat or something, I would record it and send it to them, or we would do a WhatsApp
Yeah.
where they could do a video chat with us. But every time they came to an appointment, I mean, we either had lunch or brunch or something. So I thought that was fun just to kind of get to see them outside of the doctor's appointments. And I felt bad
Sure.
because they were driving 6 hours to come and sit. Like our appointments were over in like 20 minutes. So I just
Sure.
felt really bad. But they wanted to be there. And so they were so
Yeah.
excited to be there and just watching them with their little phones or just recording all the
Mm.
sonograms and stuff was perfect. It was so sweet.
Oh, I love that.
Hmm.
So we had a glorious pregnancy. How
Hmm.
was delivery day?
Oh my gosh. It was it was different than all my other deliveries, I feel like, because I
Yeah.
had just went in there with the mindset of this is about my IPs and the
Sure.
baby
Yeah.
and just worried about them and focused on them. And my nurse was kind of like, okay, you're the one in labor. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
We're
It's a
like in
little bit
active
about you.
labor.
I'm like, yeah. And I got there early. I actually had to go in the night before and start getting induced. Um, I had to do that with all 5 pregnancies. But
Hmm.
this last one, my water ended up breaking the morning of. I went to the bathroom and brushed my teeth and put on some mascara. I walked back over to my bag and my water broke, and my water had never broken before, ever.
Oh my god! Of
So
course, it
I
couldn't be
like,
done in the bathroom. It had to be done like
I
right whenever
know.
you're. Yeah.
I was like, my husband's asleep. I'm like, babe, wake up. I think my water broke. He's like, no, I think you just peed on yourself. I'm like, no, I don't think so. So that was kind of cool to experience because I did want to experience like my water actually breaking
Yeah.
on its own. But that morning, the intended father had decided to go on like a 10-mile run in a new city, and she was like rushing him back and was like, he almost missed the birth. Like they almost missed it. um,
Oh no.
by the time they got there, I was dilated to, I want to say she got there when I was dilated to like a 7, and we were sitting there talking, and she came in and checked me, and she's like, okay, yeah, you're at an 8. And then I was like, she's talking, the mom is talking, and I'm like trying to trying to not interrupt her, but I'm like, I think I need to push. And she's like, oh, okay, here we go. So once that happened, everything happened so fast. This was my fastest delivery, easiest delivery. I pushed for 2 contractions.
Oh my
She came
gosh.
right, yeah, 2 contractions, 6 minutes, and she came right out. Um, and it
Wow.
was just so cool I was just watching like her. My husband got emotional, but I just was watching her the whole time I was pushing, and it was
Yeah.
just so cool to have her in the room with me and to like be able to see her
Yeah.
experience that. Because her first pregnancy, I don't believe that she was able. I don't believe she was able to like see everything. You know what I mean?
Sure, sure. There
Just
were
have the
other
full
complications.
experience.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So, it was just really cool watching her face light up, and she just got so giddy and so excited. She's so, so stinking cute when she's excited. I just love just how energetic she gets and how she's just cute. So she was really excited.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. You said your husband got emotional. How was he through even the journey as a whole? I know he was just so supportive.
He was very supportive, but even like just with like kicks and movements and stuff, I just was real careful to get connected to the baby.
Sure.
I just didn't want to overstep or do anything like anything that would mess up like their bond. Going into it, I think he got emotional because he was like, it's just crazy. Like we saw it in the petri dish, and then
Yeah.
he saw just the whole transformation of like from beginning to end. He said that like seeing it come to an end was kind of just emotional because he just thought it was just so amazing, like
Mm.
what my body had done. And so
Yeah.
he just said that the
Oh.
emotions were high and everything was just so perfect. So that's why he got
Oh, I
emotional.
love that. Well, sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Hmm.
Oh, that's amazing. How was post delivery? How was hanging did mom and dad hang out for a little bit?
Yep. So they stayed in a separate room in in the post op, and we were like a few doors down. So I think we were
Yeah.
there until the next afternoon. Um, my family came in and they were able to meet the baby and the mom, and she just was
Mm.
like, just here, take a picture, here, hold her. And our
Oh.
two youngest sons got to hold her and take a picture with her. And I walked down there. I think we went down there twice and did 2 rounds of pictures that,
Oh.
before we left, and got to send her off and everything. So,
Oh, I love it. Your babies met the cookie.
yes. Yeah, they did. They did. That's funny.
Oh, I love that.
Yep.
How were your kiddos when they got to meet her, and how was that for you?
Our 6-year-old got a little emotional. I never really asked him why. He's just like his dad though, and so when he saw her, he kind of like was like, "Oh, it's her. Like she's actually here now." Because I would say,
Yeah.
"Careful, like I'm carrying a baby," and we would talk about her and stuff. But our youngest one is 3, so I don't think he was really interested in anything other than like getting out of there and coming back home
Sure.
and playing. But even when we got home, he was like real hesitant, like, is there a baby in there? Like, what's going
Sure.
on? And so, yeah,
Oh, that's so sweet. How has everything been post delivery?
great. Um, yeah, I've been staying home and doing a little bit of work. I talked to the mom. She sends us videos and pictures and stuff. And I got my Christmas out early, but I was looking at their card from Christmas from last year, and it was just them three. And so I texted her and I was like, I cannot wait to see your Christmas card this year because she's going to be
Yeah.
on it. And
Oh.
she sent their Halloween costume, which was cute because they all three matched. And so I like getting those little updates and hearing from her and seeing
Oh.
how she's grown so much. I'm like, I thought just my kids grew fast, but she's growing fast too.
sweet. And that's wonderful that you get to
Yes.
continue to just, be a part. You're always going to be a part of their lives, but you get to be and see all of that fun, just those milestones,
Yes.
like watching Christmas cards,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
see all of that.
Yeah.
What would you say it was maybe one of the biggest surprises looking back on your journey?
I was surprised that the shots were not as intense as what I thought they were going to be.
There you
I'm
go.
not very
Yeah.
big on like needles and such. But it was actually pretty easy. Like I'm very like I have to have everything laid out and look at everything first and then I overthink it all. So like when the big box came in, I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm going to screw up something. I had notes and all kinds of stuff written out, like this goes here, and watched videos on numbing and all kinds of stuff. So I think that was a surprise, is that that was kind of easy. That was kind of the easy
Yeah.
part.
I love that. I say that to
Yeah.
everyone. I'm like, it seems really big and I know that needle looks
hmm
scary, but I promise you, once you do it that first time, it's going to get
hmm
better.
Yeah, it got easier and easier, and then I'm just like, boop.
There we go. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I love that. Do you
Mhm.
have any advice that you would give to, a woman who is thinking about being a surrogate or is in the middle of her journey or maybe even intended parents?
I would say, that's a good question. I think having the mindset of just being able to do this for somebody,
Mm-hmm.
um, going in it and like fully understanding like what all you're doing,
Yeah.
um, like mentally and stuff like that would be beneficial.
Sure.
Because I know that a lot of people have said to me, and also if you're thinking about doing it, like really research it and really look into it, because I know that a lot of people who I've told I'm a surrogate, like I would say about like 25% of the people that I say that to, they come back and say, I always wanted to do that, but I just never did. And so
Oh.
like I'm so glad that like I actually finished the process and did it, because I would hate to have that regret. And I'm not saying anything
Mm.
negative about them, but I'm just saying if
Sure.
it's something that you really, really want to do, look into it and talk to people and
Yeah.
like at least try to do it. If that's something that you really want to do, at least like give it a shot. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that would be so like grateful and so supportive,
Yeah.
for you to go through that journey for them.
I love that. Yes,
Yeah.
there are so many intended parents, and if you just all you can do is ask. All you can do is
Mm-hmm.
try, and just that
Mm-hmm.
trying, I think exactly what your IP said to you. We're just grateful that you're even here and wanting to do this, and that
Mm-hmm.
hope that you give to someone is just that alone is huge and such a difference maker.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Okay, I want you to finish this sentence for me. I'm glad I was a surrogate because.
Oh, I'm glad I was a surrogate because I feel like their family is now complete. Like she is just like the missing puzzle that fits perfectly right into their family. And I'm
Yeah.
so glad that I was able to be a part of that, a very small part of making that happen for them.
I wouldn't say small. I'd say you were a
I
pretty big
know,
player in that.
a little small part in helping them do that, helping them
Yeah.
achieve that.
That's beautiful. Well, I have one last question for you.
Okay.
For anyone who knows me, they know that I have a very just close relationship with coffee. And so I always like to ask the question, what filled your cup today? Literally or figuratively, what was the thing that filled your cup?
I like to pause and kind of just be in the moment with my kiddos, because like I said
Yeah,
earlier, they are just growing way too fast. And so
sure.
what filled my cup today is just being appreciative, like getting to see them come home to me and see them smile like as they enter the door and excited to
Mm.
see me, and it makes me feel really special. and loved by them. So
Yeah.
even on the hard moments, like you forget all of the hard moments for the good little moments where they just embrace being in your presence.
Absolutely. Oh, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. And I love that you got to have that. Those are the best mama
Yes.
moments for sure.
Yes, they are. Yes.
Oh, well, Megan, thank you so much for just sharing your story and giving advice and, just completing and creating that beautiful, happy family with that sweet girl. And now you have a Christmas card to look forward to.
Yes, I'm excited.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Me, You, and Who. We appreciate your time and hope you enjoyed our discussion today. As we wrap, we would like to remind you of some of the ways that you can stay connected with us and be part of the Me, You, and Who podcast community. Firstly, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode and can stay up to date with our latest content. But that's not all. We also have an exciting YouTube channel where we share some bonus content, behind the scenes glimpses, and video versions of our episodes. Head over to YouTube and hit that subscribe button there as well. And don't forget to click the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when the new episodes go live. And for more exclusive updates, engaging discussions, and a chance to connect with fellow listeners. Be sure to follow us on our social media accounts. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Create a Happy Family. If you're interested in finding out more about creating a happy family, please visit us at www.createahappyfamily.com. Thank you again for being part of the Me, You, and Who community. Your support means the world to us. I can't wait for you to join us next time as we continue to share stories and journeys of creating happy families.